phrases. All right, so I'll start sharing my screen. I've also shared my screen. So let's move on to the first slide. I think the first slide is very much evident and is visible on your screen. So the first thing that has been given for us is idioms and phrases. So let's talk about idioms and then we will move on to phrases. All right. So let please go through the first slide so that I can begin. Okay. An idiom is a phrase, saying, or a group of words with a metaphorical, not literal meaning, which has become accepted in common stage. So here, what we are able to see is that an idiom symbolic sense is quite different from the literal meaning or definition of the words of which it is made. Okay, so an idiom is a phrase. An idiom is a phrase that is by saying or a group of words with a metaphorical, not literal meaning. Okay, so that is what is called as a idiom. All right, so just a moment. I'm sure my screen is visible to you all. There is no problem with my screen. Okay, so here idiom is a phrase, saying, or a group of words with a metaphorical, not literal meaning, which has become accepted in the common usage. So it says that an idiom does not have a literal meaning. All right. For example, if I say an idiom as uh, down to earth, so it doesn't mean he is down to the earth. It doesn't mean that he is inside earth or behind earth or nothing like that. Down to earth refers to the attitude. All right. So when it comes to an idiom, you need not focus on what the literal meaning talks about. You need to only focus on what the real meaning of the particular idiom is and not the literal meaning. Okay. And moving on to the next point, an idiom symbolic sense is quite different from the literal meaning or definition of words of which it is made. So this particular sentence makes it very, very clear. It reiterates the same point that a symbolic sense is quite different from the literal meaning. Okay, the symbolic sense is very, very different from what it actually means, and also the definition of words of which it is made. Moving on to the next point, idioms have a sense of mystery and fun about them. This is a very, very important fact, which says mystery has, idioms have a sense of mystery and fun fact about them. So an idiom is also about a mystery kind of a thing, and also it has fun about, because it is not going to talk about the literal sense. It is going to talk about a symbolic meaning. Okay, it's actually a metaphorical symbolic meaning that it will talk about. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay. An idiom is a phrase or expression that typically presents a figurative, non-literal meaning attached to the phrase, but some phrases become figurative idioms while retaining the literal meaning of the phrase. Okay, so an idiom is a phrase or expression that typically presents a figurative. Figurative is something that figures that particular metaphorical or a meaning. Okay, that is a symbolic meaning. And it is not the literal meaning. You need to bear in your mind this very, very clearly, that an idiom is not going to convey a literal meaning. It is going to be either symbolic or metaphorical. Attached to the phrase, attached to the phrase, but some phrases become figurative idioms while retaining the literary meaning of the phrase. Okay, sometimes it becomes figurative and sometimes it retains the same meaning of the phrase. Okay, categorized as form-like language, and idiom's figurative meaning is different from the literal meaning. You need to remember this very, very carefully, that if you are given a literal meaning, if you are given an idiom, you are not supposed to divide into two. You should not disintegrate it. The moment you disintegrate it, you will lose its basic essence, that what it is trying to convey to you. So you need to be very, very careful in not disintegrating the particular idiom that has been given to you, and try and understand the meaning that has been mentioned in a metaphorical way. So that is very, very important when it comes to understanding an idiom. Okay, an idiom is a non-literal meaning that has been attached to a particular word, and it makes sense in a metaphorical or a symbolic way. Okay, an idiom is a widely used saying or expression that contains a figurative meaning that is different from the phrase literal meaning. Okay, this is again talking about the same point, which means that you are trying to talk about a particular word, two words joined together. They do not convey the literal meaning. In case if they convey the literal meaning, then they are in idioms. They will not be categorized as idioms. Only when they convey a different phrase and literal meaning will they become obviously idioms. All right. For example, if you say you're feeling under the weather, you don't really mean that you're standing underneath the rain. No, you're not meaning that. You're trying to say that an idiom is always very, very important for you to understand. For example, if you say you're feeling under the weather, you don't literally mean that you're standing underneath the rain. All right. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay. Expressions that cannot be understood from the meanings of its separate words, but that has a separate meaning of its own. And also a form of a language that is spoken in a particular area and that uses some of its own words, a grammar and pronunciations. So in this particular slide, it has been clear that expressions that cannot be understood from the meanings of its separate words. So you are not supposed to separate an idiom. For example, if you're given two words, you're not supposed to separate the two words. If you separate the two words, the essence of the meaning or the essence of the word will be lost. Okay, so that has separate meaning of its own. A form of a language that a speaker in particular area and that uses some of its own grammar, pronunciations, and words. Okay. So now we have some English idioms given here. We'll just go through. I'll give you just 2 minutes to go through. Kindly go through. I think you would have gone through. Okay, I will read out the examples. These are just examples. Okay, for us to gain a proper knowledge of what an idiom is. I've locked the door. They are as safe as houses, which means they are very safe. And then I have been in the seventh heaven, extremely happy ever since I got engaged. So in the seventh heaven means that not that he has died or he has seen the seventh heaven. No, his happiness, the level of happiness that he has attained is like he has reached the seventh heaven. No one would have reached the seventh heaven, but he is comparing his or her happiness to reaching the seventh heaven. Then, if you have problems, call me 24/7. 24/7 does not mean the number. It means at any time. It doesn't matter if I'm sleeping. If you keep asking him about his girlfriend, you will be on thin ice. So thin ice does not mean that she or he is standing on a thin piece of ice. No, it is an risky situation. Okay, if you think I am going to climb the rickety ladder, you're all wet. All wet means completely mistaken. It will be a cold day in July. Never happen when our team wins a championship. We are terrible. So here, a cold day in July means something that is never gonna happen. All right. When our team wins a championship, we are terrible. It's been raining cats and dogs, which means it has been raining heavily all day. I am afraid the roof is going to leak. Jeff smokes like a chimney, which means not that he is a chimney sweeper or a chimney keeper, nothing. He makes chimneys. No, it means that he smokes a lot. I worry about his health. And then we have Jim is a straight arrow, which means he is an honest and a trustworthy person. Kevin says he was completely in the dark, unaware about the CEO's plan to sell the company. Which means he was in the dark, which means he is not without the light or anything. It means that he was unaware. Okay. Let me just put my face on Apply Cosmetics and I'll meet you at the restaurant in 15 minutes. Which means not to put your face on anything. It means to apply cosmetics. Let's come back soon before the heavens open, which means start to raining heavily. The last one means let's go out and soak up some sun, which means enjoy the sun. So these particular 13 examples would have given you a clear idea that if you try and split the particular idiom that has been given here, you will be lost. You will not be able to understand or see any meaning. All right, so you need to be very, very clear. Okay. Now moving on to the next slide. An idiom is a common phrase which means something different from its literal meaning. So that is what we saw right now. As examples, we were able to clearly gauge and understand of what a particular idiom is. Idioms can be understood because of their popular use. Idioms are made of normal words that have a special meaning to almost everyone. So, idioms are made of normal words. They constitute normal words. This is a very, very important point that you need to remember. Idioms are like normal words, but they have a special meaning to almost everything that we see. Here also we see that as safe as houses, being in seventh heaven, 24/7. All these are definitely normal words, but they have different meaning. That is very, very important for us to understand. Okay, moving on to the next. Okay. Idioms count. So there are like more than 25,000 idiomatic expressions, and they are estimated to be at least 25,000 idiomatic expressions in the English language. And idioms evolve the language. Very, very important. When a language evolves and become a better one, the idioms certainly evolve. They are the building blocks of a language and civilization. For sure, they are definitely blocks of a language and civilization. So here are the commonly used idioms. Cross your fingers. So here we are able to see that cross your fingers means it's not a physical thing. It means for good luck. Okay, fell on deaf ears. It does not mean someone fell on the deaf ears. No, it means people wouldn't listen to something. Get cold feet. Get cold feet means to be nervous. Give the cold shoulder, giving the cold shoulder, which means to ignore someone. Have a change of heart, which means change your mind. I am all yours. You have my full attention. It cost an arm and a leg, which means it was very, very expensive. So, all here have little similarities, but here giving the cold shoulder does not have any similarity to having ignore someone. So, you cannot kind of memorize everything. It is not possible. You need to slowly imbibe these idioms. So when you use idioms in your spoken English, it will definitely refine the way you speak English. Okay, moving on to the next slide. 5 idioms. So like you, 5 idioms every English student should know is that: get your act together, meaning you need to improve your behavior, work. Pull yourself together, which means calm down. I am feeling under the weather, which means I am sick. This is the first example that we saw, if you could remember. It's a piece of a cake. It means that it's easy. It is not the literal meaning. So we need to remember one thing very, very clearly is that you are not supposed to take the meaning as it is in the literal way. You are supposed to understand the metaphorical as well as the symbolic way. And then break a leg means good luck. Okay, now moving on to the next slide. The best of both worlds means you can enjoy two different opportunities at the same time. By working part-time and looking after her kids 2 days a week, she managed to get the best of both worlds. So here it clearly means that he is able to enjoy two different opportunities at the same time. Okay, speak of the devil. This means that the person you are just talking about actually appears at that moment, which means, hi Tom, speak of the devil. I was just telling Sarah about your new car. Okay, so this is not talking anything ill about the person who is in front of you. No, it is not in that connotation. It just means that you're just talking about him, that person, or her, that person, and he or she suddenly appeared. Okay, see eye to eye, which means this means agreeing with someone. They finally saw eye to eye on the business deal. Okay, once in a blue moon. This is an often used idiom that I have seen, an event that happens infrequently. I only go to the cinema once in a blue moon. Something that happens very, very infrequently. When pigs fly, something that will never happen. When pigs fly, she'll tidy up her room. So that's just something that will never happen because pigs can't fly. Similarly, she will never tidy up her room. Okay, now moving on to the next slide. To cost an arm and a leg, which means something that is very, very expensive. Fuel these days costs an arm and a leg. Okay, a piece of cake, something that is very, very easy. The English test was a piece of cake. It doesn't mean that it was tasty, but it was a piece of cake means it was very, very easy. Okay, now moving on to the next example. Let the cat out of the bag. To accidentally reveal the secret without wanting to really reveal it is the important thing. Okay, so let the cat out of the bag, which means to accidentally reveal a secret. I let the cat out of the bag about their wedding plans. Okay, so this is what is meant by letting out the cat of the bag, which means revealing an accidentally a secret. To feel under the weather, which means not to feel well. I'm really feeling under the weather today. I have a terrible cold. To kill two birds with one stone, which means to solve two problems at once. So this is an often used idiom in the native languages, in Tamil also. I don't know how it is in other languages, but Tamil we definitely use this kind of idioms, which definitely will evolve the language by taking my dad, by taking my dad By taking my dad on holiday, I killed two birds with one stone. I got to go away, but also spend time with him. So here it's like two purposes. It's like two purposes. It's like two purposes that has been done in one way. Okay, that is what it means. Next is to cut corners. To do something badly or cheaply. They really cut corners when they build this bathroom. The shower is leaking, which means that they had really cut corners with when they built this bathroom, the shower is leaking. Okay, to add insult to injury, which means to make a situation worse. That is what it means. Okay, next example that has been given here is to add insult to an injury. The car drove off without stopping after knocking me off my bike. You can't judge a book by its cover is an often used idiom. It means to not judge someone or something based solely on appearance. Then I thought this no brand bread would be horrible. Turns out Turns out you can't judge a book by its cover. Okay, break a leg means good luck. Often said to actors before they go on stage. Break a leg, Sam. I'm sure your performance will be great. This is a very important idiom. Okay, now moving on to the next idiom. To hit the nail on the head. To describe exactly what is causing a situation or problem. So here he hit the nail on the head when he said this company needs more HR support. So hit the nail on the head means to describe what is causing a situation or a problem. Okay, moving on to the next slide. A blessing in disguise, which means a misfortune that eventually results in something good happening later on. So me joining the particular job was blessing in disguise during the pandemic. So this is something which says and misfortune that eventually results in something good happening later on. Okay, and then call it a day. Stop working on something. So I call it a day, which means I am going to stop on what I was already been doing. All right. Now, moving on to the next example. Let someone who off the hook to allow someone who have been caught to be punished. So you should understand that let someone off the hook, which means to allow someone who have been caught to not be punished. Okay, so to prevent them from punishment. No pain, no gain, which means you have to work hard for something you want. If you want to achieve something, you need to really work hard. Bite the bullet. Bite the bullet means decide to do something unpleasant that you avoid doing. So doing that particular exercise was like biting the bullet for me. So, okay, decide to do something unpleasant that you have avoiding doing. Okay, now moving on to the next slide. Getting a taste of your own medicine. Being treated at the same unpleasant way you have treated others. Okay, being treated the same unpleasant way you have treated others. When it comes back to you. Giving someone the cold shoulder, which means to ignore someone. My friend often gives me a cold shoulder. That doesn't mean he or she is offering me a cold shoulder. No, it means that he's trying or she's trying to ignore me. The last straw. The final source of irritation for someone to finally lose patience. Okay, that is the final. That is the last thing that they will be able to bear. Okay, the elephant in the room, a matter of problem that is obvious of great importance, but that is not discussed openly. Okay, so elephant in the room is a matter of problem that is very obvious. That's obvious to everyone right out there, but it is not discussed openly. Now one wants to discuss about it openly. Is the reality, is what is the elephant in the room discusses about. Okay. And now the next is stealing someone's thunder, which means taking credit for someone else's achievements. Okay, that is like trying to pose or go or show pride about showing that they have done this, or she or he has done this. Okay. These are the unusual idioms that are around the world. So let's just go through it for a minute. Okay. So stop ironing my head. Next time someone is annoying you, you just tell them, stop ironing my head. So stop ironing my head. The literal, the metaphorical meaning is that he is trying to bother, or he is trying to disturb you so much. I still riding the goat, which means are you still doing the same thing? Is what it means. It means you cannot ride a goat. It's like impossible. How can you ride a goat? You can only ride a horse. You cannot ride a goat. Walk around the hot porridge. Emit smoke from 7 orifices. Have the other cats to whip. God bless you and may your mustache grow like brushwood. Have the cockroach. Like live like a maggot in back bacon. So these are some of the unusual idioms. So there is like no particular way in which you can by heart or memorize all the things, all the idioms, but you can definitely make the idioms that you are going through by you can easily imbibe it by hearing it. First time you need to hear or read a new expression or come into contact with in any other way, and then you need to write it up. You need to write it. Next up writing is writing the new phrases or idioms down, or else you will forget them. Use it finally. You have to use an expression in order for it to become part of your everyday vocabulary. So these are the things that you can do in order to learn a particular phrase or an idiom. So now let's see what a basic idiom is. So let's brush up again. A basic idiom is a phrase or a group of words within a metaphorical and not a literal meaning, which has accepted in the common usage. An idiom symbolic sense is quite different from the literal meaning or definition of the words of which it is made. And then idioms have a sense of mystery and fun about them. That is what we saw. And then basically you are not supposed to disintegrate a particular idiom. You are only supposed to understand. Okay. So it clearly says expression that cannot be understood from the meanings of its separate words, but that has separate meaning of its own is what is a idiom mean. So these were the small idioms. In this itself, we can clearly understand that as safe as houses. All of these them have like separate meaning. Safe has a meaning and houses has a meaning, but the real meaning is very safe. Okay, but this at least has some relationship, some understanding with what the actual meaning means. But here, being in seventh heaven does not have anything to do with extremely happy. It does not mean that he has to go to the seventh heaven. No, it shows how much he has been happy. Okay. Also, heavens open, start to rain heavily. This is also very important because it's like rain is something that comes directly from heaven. That is what we can gauge from. So basically, idioms are obviously made of normal words. That is what we saw, and they have a special meaning. known to almost everyone. So definitely they have a special meaning. That is why they are idioms. And that is why you are not supposed to disintegrate or separate them. Okay. So as we saw, there are like more than 25,000 idiomatic expressions, and they are the building blocks, and they have a very, very important role in playing the evolving of the particular language. Okay. And when it comes here, when we see here, it is English. Okay. So these are the commonly used idioms that we saw: cross your fingers, fell on deaf ears, get cold feet, giving the cold shoulder, have a change of heart, I'm all ears, it cost an arm and a leg. It doesn't mean, for example, the last one is can be funny. It costs an arm and leg does not mean catching an arm and catching a leg. No, it means it was that costly, it was that expensive, as it is like cutting an arm and a leg. Okay. Moving on to the next slide. So these are the 5 basic idioms that every English student should know. By put your act together, pull yourself together, I am feeling under the weather, it's a piece of cake, break a leg. So these are the some of the examples that we saw with the sentences that made a perfect usage of idioms. Okay. Now let's move on to phrases. It's all everything we saw. Okay. Phrases, a group of words that are used together. A phrase does not contain a full word. This is very, very important. A phrase is not going to contain a full word. Okay, you need to be very careful and very much aware of that fact. In everyday speech, a phrase is any group of words often carrying a special idiomatic meaning. In this sense, it's synonymous with expression. So, in everyday speech, a phrase is any group often carrying a special idiomatic meaning. Okay, in the sense of its sense and synonymous with expression. All right, in linguistic analysis, a phrase is a group of words that functions as a constituent in the syntax of a sentence, a single unit within a grammatical hierarchy. So, in linguistic analysis, a phrase is a group of words that functions as a constituent, as a very important part in the syntax of a sentence within a grammatical hierarchy is what is meant by a phrase. So let's move on to the next slide. A phrase is a group of words that express a concept and is used as a unit within a sentence. So a phrase is a group of words that expresses a concept and is used as a unit within a sentence. Okay. Now moving on to the next point, which says there are like almost 8 common types of phrases that are noun, verb, gerund, infinitive, appositive, participial, prepositional, and absolute. You will. It is not necessary that you are supposed to know everything in memoriam, but it's better if you are able to categorize all this. So a phrase is a group of words that stand together as a grammatical unit, typically as a part of a clause or a sentence. A phrase does not contain a subject and a verb, and consequently cannot convey a complete thought. You need to be very, very clear about this. A phrase is a group of words that stand together as a single grammatical unit and as a part of a clause or a sentence, but a phrase does not contain a subject and a verb. Consequently, cannot convey a complete thought. Okay, you need to be very, very clear about this particular point. Next, we have the clause does contain a subject and a verb, and it can convey a complete idea. So, a phrase is very different from a clause that has been explained in this particular slide. It says a clause does contain a subject and a verb, and it can convey a complete idea. Whereas a phrase will not be able to do that. So a phrase does not contain a subject and a verb, and consequently cannot convey a complete thought, whereas a clause can do it because it does contain a subject and a verb and it conveys a complete idea. Okay, so there are like types of phrases has been given here. We have noun phrase, which means Monday, Friday became a cool, wet afternoon. Okay, verb phrase, Mary might have been waiting outside for you. Gerund phrase, eating ice cream on a hot day can be a good way to cool off. In infinitive phrase, she helped to build the roof. Prepositional phrase. In the kitchen, you will find my mom. So here, the noun phrase, verb phrase, gerund phrase, infinitive phrase, and prepositional phrase are, for example, in gerund phrase, it is eating ice cream. Eating ice cream cannot have its meaning on its own. Okay, so when, what, and all this there. So these are all the examples of phrases. Now let's move on to the next slide. So you need to understand one thing very, very clearly is that a phrase is a group of words that strand together as a single grammatical unit as a part of a clause or a sentence. Okay. So these are all some of the examples that we will be seeing right now. Phrase, a little bird told me, meaning someone told me a secret. For sure, we will not be able to understand what a bird says unless and until we possess some miraculous powers. Okay, but here it is a phrase. So it is not the literal meaning again, it's a metaphorical meaning. A lot on my plate, very busy. It's not about you have so much to eat on your plate. No, that is not the correct meaning that what is being conveyed here. It means very busy. Then we have a matter of time. A matter of time means when something is inevitable. When something is inevitable means when something cannot be avoided. Okay, and a penny for your thoughts means ask for advice. So it means you need to understand every phrase not by its literal meaning but by its metaphorical meaning. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay, now we have a phrase. It says, take it with a grain of salt. So here, meaning if someone provides information, they might say, take it with a grain of salt. Afterwards, which means they say they are unsure if the information is accurate or true. In other words, what they said might be unreliable. So they don't take it too seriously. That is what it is trying to mention. So take it with a grain of salt means that the whatever the information that has been provided has to be consider then and there. If it is left just like that, then it might not be as accurate as it is at that particular point of time. It might lose its prominence. Okay. So in other words, what they said might be unreliable. So don't take it too seriously. Now let's move on to the next slide. So take it with a grain of salt, which means if someone provides information, they might say take it with a grain of salt afterwards, which means that it might be or it might not be accurate after a point of time. Okay, now let's move on to the next slide. Okay, example, our favorite local pizza place is possibly shutting down in the next few weeks. However, take it a grain of salt because it's just a rumor I had heard. So this particular sentence talks about how take it with a grain of salt, which means that it might be a rumor also. I think the next example is, I think English is one of the hardest languages to learn. Then again, I'm not confident about that. So take it with a grain of salt. So take it with a grain of salt here conveys the appropriate meaning, that which means it might lose its prominence. It might become inaccurate also. Okay. So this is the meaning of this particular phrase. Now let's move on to the next slide. Again, you have some examples that have been given here. The nerve issues in your wrist could be how you hold your tablet, Laila. You usually hold it with one hand for extended periods of time. However, my suggestion should be taken this with a grain of salt because I'm not a doctor. Okay, so again, this is trying to say, this particular sentence is trying to convey to us that it might be inaccurate because he is not a doctor. He is also giving you a claim. He is also giving you caution. Similar example, I gave my friend some advice on his car, which he took lightly. That's probably for the best since my knowledge on cars is limited. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, the apple doesn't fall from far from the tree. It, in case if you look at it from the literal sense, you can think, okay, for an apple obviously cannot fall from far away from the tree. It has to fall there unless and until it's picked up by someone and being sold it somewhere out. But the metaphorical meaning is very, very different, and that is what it defines. So the apple doesn't fall far from the tree is a phrase that is typically said in connection with children who show qualities or talents that are similar to those of their parents. Example, Dan was an older man with back problems. So he disliked having to carry in a car full of groceries. Lifting everything inside was such a pain. But one day, when Dan returned from shopping, his neighbor came over to help. Then the next time, the neighbor's son helped to carry things inside. Okay, so this is what it exactly means. Afterwards, Dan told the boy, I see the apple never falls far from the tree. In other words, he was saying that the boy was like his father. They were both nice and helpful. This particular example talks in the positive connotation. Okay. So let's move on to the next slide. Before moving on to the next slide, we will get clear with the example and the meaning. The apple doesn't fall from the tree, fall far from the tree means it has a metaphorical meaning that a parent's qualities will be definitely inherited by the children. Okay. Examples of the apple that doesn't fall far from the tree. Here are two examples of this expression in a sentence. Your mother is a skilled pianist. And from what I have heard, you are too. Guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So here, the mother's basic uh, skills of playing a piano is definitely inherited by her children. Okay, that is what is means by the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Next example, Sarah was a kind person, always showing consideration for others. Her parents were the same way. So it seems that the apple never falls far from the tree, as the saying goes. Okay, I'm sure that you would have got this right by now. Now let's move to the next. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. Meaning, you can't teach an old dog of new tricks is the common phrase. That means it is challenging to teach a person something new, usually because that person has been doing things a certain way for so long that they are too stubborn to learn how to do it differently. All right, sentence example. I tried showing my grandpa how to use game console controller, but it seems you can't teach an old dog new tricks because he didn't seem to get it. He preferred gaming on mobile instead. Here, the particular sentence is not trying to look down upon the grandpa. No, it is just trying to say, like, it's not comparing the grandpa to the old dog. No, it's a common saying. It's a common phrase, which means it is challenging to teach a person. So that is what he is facing. That particular kid is facing very difficult. It's like challenging for the child to teach the grandpa the new tricks. Okay. Instead, he does not want to equip himself with the new tricks. He wants to follow the old tricks only. That is what is made very, very clear here. Okay. Let's move on to the next slide. The next slide, a chip on your shoulder. Chip on your shoulder does not mean having a chip on your shoulder. No. It means if you have a chip on your shoulder, it means you feel angry because someone mistreated you, holding a grudge. Okay. So this means you're angry on someone because someone mistreated you and holding a grudge. So that is what is meant by a chip on your shoulder. The example, the common phrase is used when someone feels like they have been wronged and they remain upset over it. Okay, this common phrase is so used when someone feels like they have been wronged, they have been unfortunately wronged, and they remain very much upset over it. Example, he waylay me, said I. Means sneaking fellow. I'm not afraid that he will sue me for my damage, for the damages. Oh, if I only could get him to knock a chip off my shoulder and so get round the law, I would give him one of the soundest thrashing he ever had. So here we are clearly able to see, understand, and feel the grudge that the persona has here over the other person. He is like very, very angry. Okay, that is what we are able to see in the particular slide here. Okay. Now moving on the next slide, moving on the next example. Let me read the first example for you again. He waylay me, said I. The mean sneaking fellow. I am only afraid that he will sue me for damages. Oh, If I only could get him to knock a chip off my shoulder and so get round the law, I would give him one of the soundest thrashings he ever had. Okay, now moving on to the next example. Here are examples of this idiom being using in a sentence. Do you still have a chip on your shoulder because of what happened last week? Which means someone is asking the other person, are you still holding the grudge because something happened last week? Okay. Ethan told a joke about Rachel to her co-workers, and since then she's had a chip on her shoulder, which means she is holding a grudge against Ethan because he definitely cracked a joke. Okay, next let's move on to the next slide. Down to earth. Down to earth does not mean he is under the earth. No, it means someone might use the idiom down to earth to describe a person who is unpretentious and or reasonable. This phrase might also be used to describe ideas that are practical and are sensible. Okay, down to earth definitely means to describe a person who is unpretentious, who does not pretend to be. He is that is the real characteristic or reasonable. This phrase might also be used to describe ideas that are practical and sensible. Next, some example. Someone in our marketing department suggested we advertise our new product with hot air balloons. While I appreciated his suggestion, I told him that we need a plan that is more down to earth. Okay, now let's move on to the next slide. Examples and sentences. I needed to have my car repaired and I was worried that the costs would be through the roof. However, the prices were actually down to earth and reasonable. I met a professional basketball player and I thought he would be full of himself, but he was more down to earth than I expected. So, in this particular second example, we are clearly able to understand one particular fact about the player whom he thought was not really down to earth. But when he really met the professional basketball player, and he thought he would be full of himself. Full of himself means be full of pride and not really talking to anyone, like feeling very proud about himself and the achievement that he has made. But to his surprise, but to that particular person's surprise, the professional basketball player was more down to earth than what he had expected that particular professional basketball player to be. So this shows the attitude of the professional basketball player and not the attitude of the person. Okay. So now let's move on to the next slide. Down to the wire. The phrase down to the wire means there is a tense situation in a competition where the outcome is only clear in the near the end. Example, there's only a minute left in the basketball game and the score is all tied up. That is what it means here. Thus, it could be said that this game is coming down to the wire because it is difficult to tell who will win. Okay, that is what is meant by down to the wire. Next, let's move on to the next slide. Sentence examples. These are the sentence examples. Our school's fastest runners are competing in a race and so far they look evenly matched. So I think this race will come down to the wire. The trivia game I played with my family came to the wire. My two brothers were contending for the first place. Similar examples are they are both neck to neck, neck and neck. So I have no idea who will come out on top. This match will be a photo finish. These are all the examples of down to the wire. Go out on a limb has two meanings. In one, it says putting yourself in a risky or a precarious situation in order to help someone. Second one means taking a wild guess at something. Example, Jordan's friend asked, do you know which vegetable is my favorite? In response, Jordan said, I will. Go out on a limb and say it's asparagus. In other words, he's taking a guess. Okay, just taking a wild guess. Let's move on to the next slide. The next slide says examples. I am going out on a limb for you here, and you aren't even going to thank me for my help. Okay, so this is talking about how I am putting myself in risky and precarious situations for you, and you are not considering that. We can't figure out how our dog managed to get out of our backyard, but if I were to go out on a limb, I would say he would probably jump over the wooden fence. Okay, so this is what it means. To go out on a limb has two meanings. One meaning is that I am putting yourself or someone in a risky situation for you, and then to make a wild guess at something. All right. So these are the examples. I am going out on a limb for you here, and you aren't even going to thank me for my help. We can't figure out how our dog managed to get out of the backyard, but if I were you to get on a limb, I would say he helped. He probably jumped over the wooden fence. Okay, now let's see the exercise. So a fair weather friend always tries to fish in troubled waters of his friends and benefactors. So here we need to understand and gauge the meaning of to fish in troubled waters. So we need to see to borrow money, no. To steal belongings of I don't think so. So to extend a helping hand, maybe. To get benefit in bad situation is the correct answer. So to get benefit in a bad situation is the correct answer for this particular question. Now let's move on to the next question. His arrogant behavior with others left him high and dry. To be penniless, to be very sick, to be very famous, isolated. So here, to be very famous is definitely not the right option because he's very arrogant. Looking at the connotation of the sentence, it is clear that the answer is going to be a negative one because the connotation is talking about a negative connotation. So to be penniless is also not the right answer. So the answer is isolated. So isolated is the correct answer. Now let's move on to the next question. All the residents of the colony painted the town red on the eve of the festival. To whitewash buildings? Definitely no. To renovate buildings? Might be. To celebrate noisily in public places? To create nuisances. So, possibly the answer is to celebrate noisily in public places is the correct answer. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. The chairman pulled a long face when the house did not accept the suggestions put forth by him. Okay, so the answer, let's see the answer. To look disappointed, to get annoyed, to be agitated, to make a quarrel. So in this particular context, the answer would be pulled a long face. The answer would be to look disappointed. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. The fair and square police of the chairman, the committee has made him very popular among the residents of the town, which means fair and square means clever and deceitful, honest, ambiguous, relevant, and practical. You might definitely get haywire here because you have fair and square. You might think clever and deceitful, relevant and practical, but no. The answer is honest. Okay, now let's look at some more questions. Let the PDF open. Okay, he has the gift of the gap, which means he is gifted. He is a chatterbox. He is a good conversationalist. So the answer is he is a good conversationalist. Okay. Parental property has become a bone of contention between the siblings. Means unifying factor, cause of quarrel, cause of rivalry. The answer here is cause of quarrel. Okay, once in a blue moon we meet each other, which means very seldom indeed. Okay, next question. He has been jobless. He has been jobless for several months, and it is his wife who keeps the pot boiling, which means his wife is someone who keeps the fire burning to avoid starvation. Okay, let's move on to the next question. In the end, he had to eat the humble pie, which means he had to apologize humbly is the